Today I'm going to tell you guys a story about how a broken space bar killed my productivity, because I think this is something really important. There's a takeaway from this story. You see this broken space bar right there. Yes, this came from my MacBook Pro. This MacBook Pro has been my daily driver in many aspects for the last 3 years now. And it has done a lot for me. It's something that I use or used on a day-to-day basis. And about 3 months ago, the space bar right here broke off. And it's my own fault. So let's go back and tell you about this, because I was typing away at my computer and I hit the space bar and it felt like something was underneath it. And me, in my infinite wisdom, said, well, I'll just pop the space bar off and clean whatever's underneath there, right? Wrong. Got the space bar off, no problem. However, putting the space bar back on the other hand, was a task in itself. I YouTubed a video on how to do it properly, and I didn't do it properly. I actually broke the space bar. There's clips on the space bar, and I actually broke them. And it's something that I didn't pay close enough attention to, because there's not really enough detailed videos out there that talk about the process really in depth and in a way that anybody can understand. Now, there are videos out there, but none of them do this process justice, because in fact, it's a little bit tricky. So I actually went about 2.5 months with no space bar on there. And obviously I couldn't do a lot of work on there. I really didn't do any work at all from there, to be honest with you. And you would think that, okay, well, you should probably get your space bar fixed, right? Well, I was like, I have 7 other computers, literally 7 other computers in this house that I could use at any given time. 2 of them being laptops, 1 of them being a MacBook Air. And what I found is nothing could compare to this MacBook Pro. Nothing could replace it. Nothing could even come close to it. It was not that same feel. Now, if you know me, if you've watched my videos before, you guys know that I am not a big Apple fan. In fact, I despise Apple products to the core mostly, except for this MacBook Pro. This is like the only Apple product that I can actually get behind. So trying to use the MacBook Air, which was an older version, not that same look and feel. The other computer I had was an Acer laptop. Not the same look and feel at all. And during this process, I didn't realize how often I was utilizing my MacBook Pro to do work random times during the day or night. You see, there have been so many times where I'd be laying in bed, typing away, doing work, or sitting on the couch with the family, just hanging out, and I'd pick up the laptop and get a couple things done here and there. And it wasn't clicking with me, like why I was being so unproductive. Now, I know we're all going through crazy times and whatnot, but this was different. I'm like, I had to draw back and say, what is the difference here? I know that some things are different, but overall, what has changed to make me less productive? And it was my MacBook. I missed my MacBook. I spent $77 to buy a keyboard or a key replacement, just the space bar and the components that come with the space bar to replace it. And guess what? I couldn't fix it. I could not get the space bar back on there. And this frustrated me to no end, because I was recording a video of how to replace it the proper way, because I knew after all the research that I've done on how to put a space bar back on there, I could do it this time. I'd record a video and make it as precise and as easy to follow as possible. But I broke the other space bar. I did the same thing that I did before, because it's a lot more difficult than I thought. And it's funny, because throughout the 20 years I've been working and screwing around with IT in general, I've replaced hundreds of space bars on laptops and other keyboards, and it's never been this difficult. However, this has been the most difficult one. So somebody reached out to me on LinkedIn after I posted about, trying to find a space bar replacement, and they said, just call Apple. I'm like, I'm not gonna call Apple. Like, Apple's ridiculous. They're so expensive. Everything's so expensive. It's gonna cost me $1,000 just to send it there and get it replaced. So after I had failed replacing the spacebar, I called Apple. And guess what? It was free. It was absolutely free. for them to replace my spacebar. And I sent it off to them. Actually sent it off to them Thursday. I sent this laptop to them on Thursday. Today is Saturday. I sent it to them on Thursday. I sent this to Apple on Thursday. I just got it back this morning. Completely fixed. But wait, there's more. Not only did they replace my spacebar, they actually replaced the logic board. They replaced this top cover right here, all this. They even replaced, which I was actually kind of excited about, they replaced this. And this, before it was replaced, it was all scratched up and nasty. Well, they replaced it, and now it looks beautiful and wonderful. And I have a spacebar that works now. And you guys might have no idea how difficult it was for me to deal with this for the time that I did. And I was being stupid about it. I was being stubborn about it. But I realized, a couple weeks ago when I started to go through this process of actually getting the spacebar replaced, is that I needed this to be productive. And I couldn't use these other laptops and other computers to the same capacity or the same capability that this MacBook would operate, because they weren't this MacBook. They weren't as powerful. They weren't as nice. It just wasn't the same. And it's unfortunate that that is the case. It's unfortunate that I've become so accustomed to one specific type of computer that allows me to do my work in the way that I need it to. But it also goes to show you that when you build some type of pattern, or when you build some type of structure, the pieces that fall into place within that structure, within the way that you do things, is extremely important. So if I would have had to replace this laptop completely, at this point I would have, because I haven't really grasped the fact of how important these little pieces go into play to make bigger things happen. And it's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate that sometimes these types of things happen. You should be able to adapt to everything and anything. And for the most part, I did in many ways. I was using like this desktop computer that I have here next to me. I had my desktop computer that was downstairs. The one that I have that's in my house is probably twice as powerful as this MacBook, to be honest with you. But it still wasn't the same. I still didn't have that freedom. I still didn't have that roaming capability that I need to get things done. I have 4 kids. I'm constantly busy. Things are always going on. Having a mobile solution that is capable of editing videos and editing pictures and doing things like that quickly and efficiently is so crucial to what I'm doing. And you're gonna find that's the case too. You're gonna find that you start building these different patterns, and you have these pieces that are part of that pattern that make everything happen, that make everything come to light. And you could do your best to try to navigate without those pieces, or try to find a alternative solution to some of these pieces, but sometimes it's just never the same. It's never what it needs to be. And I think sometimes that's okay. I think sometimes we can find ways to find an alternative method. We can find ways to do things differently, to try to achieve the overall end goal, the overall task that we're trying to do. We can find these replacements and we can get by. But sometimes at the end of the day, like, we turn around and we look at our situation, we look at the solutions that we have, and ultimately it leads back to, what is the best way we can stay productive, and what is the best way we can get these types of solutions done? Sometimes that means spending more money. Sometimes that means spending more time. And that's maybe what it takes to become successful. So for you guys out there who are struggling with similar types of things, or just struggling in general with obstacles that you think you need more for, or you can't adapt properly to, I think sometimes we have found a way to adapt and overcome some of these different solutions and obstacles and things like that. But it's okay to also be comfortable with what we've been accustomed to. So I guess what I'm trying to get at here is that sometimes we can find ways to overcome different issues and obstacles and completing our tasks in different ways. Sometimes we have to go back to what we are most comfortable with and what works for us. And sometimes what works for us, it simply might cost us more money, or it might cost us more time. But being comfortable with, your routine, being comfortable with what you're trying to do, I think is extremely important to being successful. Sometimes you have to go a little bit above and or beyond to accomplish the tasks that you want to. I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to say that you guys need to go out and spend thousands of dollars on a MacBook Pro. That's just what I have built around my process to accomplish things. That's not going to be the case for everybody. Not everybody is going to be able to afford a MacBook Pro or be able to afford thousands of dollars worth of video equipment or thousands of dollars of networking equipment, right? We can't all do that, but we find ways to get around that. So summing this all up, that's kind of my story on how a broken spacebar of all things just killed my productivity. And now, be it that it was actually free to replace this stuff, I mean, that's just kind of crazy. Thank you, Apple. You guys really came through on that for sure. But I was prepared to spend thousands of dollars to replace this because I knew that I needed to. And that would hurt me financially. Like, I would never financially recover from that. Thanks, Joe Exotic. Because I don't have thousands of dollars to spend, but I knew to overcome my productivity issues, to be able to accomplish the things that I needed to do, unfortunately, I would have to do that. I couldn't just let this sit. I couldn't just plug in a keyboard to this thing. Like, that's not how this works. That's not how a mobile device works, right? I can't just plug a wireless keyboard into it and have this function in the same way that I needed it to. It wasn't what I needed it to be. Now, it's what I need it to be. And now I can continue being more productive. Now, it was a little setback, but we'll overcome from that. So there was just this little story on how this spacebar right here killed my productivity. And I don't know, I just wanted to kind of do a different video. So that's what it is. So if you guys enjoyed it, cool, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give me a bunch of thumbs down. That's fine. I'm just doing different stuff because that's what makes me happy. And this is what will keep me productive. So that's all we got in this video right here. Thank you again to Apple. They had no idea who I am. They had no idea who I was when I called them. I wasn't trying to go out and get anything free. I wasn't trying to say, hey, I'm this YouTube guy and I have this cool YouTube plaque. Give me free repairs or else I'll talk crap. No, that's not me. I didn't tell them anything about that. I just called them up and said, hey, I broke my spacebar. I need it fixed. And they're like, oh, we got this cool spacebar replacement program. It was actually a keyboard replacement program, but they fixed it all for free. And I'm so grateful. I was like a kid, like literally a kid on Christmas Day when the box came with this thing. And you can ask the wife, like I was geeking out, like straight geeking out, like, oh my God, it came, oh my gosh. How did it come so quick? Like literally Thursday, sent this thing out, Thursday afternoon, Saturday morning, I got it back. I love it. Anyway, you guys have a great day. As always, take it easy.